Hello friends, Tanya here with another crafty video, and today we are making pirate seagulls. These are so cute. We're going to use some new and old products here. We have the Inquisitive Seagulls die from Waffle Flower. This came out last year, I believe, and I got my hands on it a couple months ago, and this is my first opportunity to play with it. We are going to ink blend these beaks that I cut out with white cardstock. And I'm using Wild Honey Distress ink, and I'm using one of the Altenew mini ink blenders. I do get the Altenew monthly kits, and yes, I know I'm a little kit obsessed. I'm sorry, I can't help it. They're amazing. So I get a little mini Altenew ink blending brush with each of my orders each month. So I have a few of them, and I like to just have one for each relative color family, so I've got a few that are already inky. I am gluing these beaks that I've ink blended to Wild Honey, and now I'm going to add some black cardstock scraps to the backs of our seagulls to make their eyes look the appropriate color. So I've got black strips of cardstock here. I've just cut them slightly wider than the eye holes, and I'm going to trim off the ends of these pieces of cardstock so they fit perfectly behind the seagulls' heads. Now those seagulls' beaks are loose, so you could tuck something like they're holding it in their mouth. We also are going to use the Inquisitive Pirate add-ons. These work with the Inquisitive Frog, the Inquisitive Seagull, and the Inquisitive Crab. So those three different die sets from Waffle Flower, I love them when they make coordinating things, and they have postage collage stencils that coordinate with these different themes. This coordinates with the beach days stencils from last summer, and I could not help it. I waited months waiting for that urge to purchase these to go away, and it didn't. So I did purchase them. And now I needed to play with them. This adorable pirate add-on was a release from May or June. I just got it. I had to play with them. This is part of why I am playing with all of this beachy themed stuff. We also have the Pebbles and Stone stencil. Now, at time of recording, this stencil was available and on sale on the Hero Arts website. I think it's available on scrapbook.com also. I will have those links listed in a link for the products that I use today. I'm also using Distress inks in Salvage Patina, Salty Ocean, and Uncharted Mariner. I happen to have these colors in the large ink pads. I do prefer to use with the larger ink pads, but a person only has so much space in their craft room. So the minis work well, especially if you're only using them for ink blending. I am using my trusty piece of acetate packaging here to mask one part of this half sheet of cardstock, which is 5.5 by 8.5 inches, because I cannot resist making things that will work for a 5 by 7 card. Now, these items, the pirate seagull and this background that I'm creating to look like the ocean. So I laid down that stencil all in one orientation all the way down. Now I'm turning it 90 degrees so that the pattern is slightly different and it's going to overlap with the first impression. And I had started on the left side with a full 6 by 6 inking, and this time we're going to start on the other end with a full 6 by 6 inking. So it's going to overlap the, not the gap, but where they meet on and cover that so it's less visible. I'm using the Salty Ocean ink here, and I am slightly overlapping the edge of the previous stenciling with the edge of the new stenciling. Again, going to cover the part of the cardstock that I am not currently inking on because I am a messy, klutzy crafter, and I know I would mess up my stenciling that I don't want to work on. Every time I don't cover it, that's asking for trouble. So now that we have completed the Salty Ocean, we are going to move our stencil, rotate it 90 degrees again, and line it up. And we're going to just move it slightly so that seam is in a different spot. than the previous two seams. Cover the part I'm not actually inking with my acetate scrap here. And then we're going to come in with the darkest of the inks. This is the Uncharted Mariner. These colors all work beautifully together. And I don't know about you, but I have been drooling over the Altenew ink quads. They have, I think it's like 200 colors or something. It's an obscene amount, which is delightful. I love it. However, I don't know that I have space in my craft room to buy all of them. I really want to. I'm holding off on it because it's quite an investment. Plus, I just re-inked all of the ink pads. I think all of the ink pads, most of the ink pads in my crafting space. And that took like 2 days. That's a lot of maintenance to do. I might have to do like a quarter of them every 6 months or something. That might, I don't know. We'll see. It's a lot. Break it up a little bit so it's not overwhelming. But maintenance isn't what we want to do. We want to play. Now that I have all of this stenciling done, I love how that looks. And it looks like water to me, especially disrupted water, like if you're on a cruise ship and this is the water that's splashed and foamed along the side of the ship. Just has that beautiful array of colors, and I spattered it with some white spatter. We're also going to use the stitching die of the month from January 2025. It has this beautiful helm. I've cut it from a dark craft cardstock 4 times. I'm going to use 3 layers together for the front of the card. After I created a bunch of components for cards and played with all of my beachy tool, okay, not all, but a lot of my beachy themed toys, I made a few cards. Actually, I currently have 3 cards and I have supplies, components to make several more. This is the second video that I am doing voiceover for. I'm going to try to post these fairly close together, even if there are components that are sold out. Now, I believe all of the components I'm using on this card are a current product. Again, there's a sale right now on Hero Arts that you can get this Pebbles and Stones stencil. This is the current, this is the A7 double stitch frames from Honeybee. This was my go-to before the Matting Basics entered my craft room from Spellbinders. And I thought I would give it some love. I haven't used it in a while. So we're going to use the largest 2 of the dies in that stamp set. We're also using the current 3D embossing folder of the month called Nautical Knots from Spellbinders. It is such a great embossing folder, nice deep impression, and I haven't seen anything else like this on the market. It is knots, lots of knots. We're going to take some antique linen distress oxide ink here and add some inking over that panel just to add a little more contrast between the seagulls and the background. Now that I have those panels, all of these components constructed, we're going to start adhering things together. I did add some extra cardstock behind each of these components, and I want these guys, as you saw with my press and seal trick there, that I want them to line up so you can see the faces of all of the seagulls around the spokes of the helm. So I adhered the largest of the seagulls. I'm holding the helm onto the area to make sure that I am placing things where I want them. And we're going to add our 3rd seagull back behind the other 2. So it's like he and his buddies are just having a good time. Oh, I better glue him back on. I hope I've got him in the right spot. So we're going to put our helm back on. I didn't let that glue dry long enough, so we're going to give it a little more time before I flip it over, and I'm only going to trim off the extra seagull bit off the bottom of the card. I don't mind that they're leaning over past the edge of the card, and it does have some asymmetry to it in the finished card. That's okay. Sometimes that's okay. I can let it go. Now we're going to adhere this helm to the front of that panel so it looks like they're peeking out from behind the helm. I'm going to trim off the extra off the bottom of this panel before we adhere that to the front of the card. Now we're going to take our watery piece and just make sure that the things that are hanging over the edge are going to still fit on the front of our 5x7 card. I have a 10x7 piece of cardstock here that I've scored at 5 inches. This is 100-pound heavyweight white cardstock, and I'm going to adhere the watery panel right centered in on the front of this card. I do have a little bit of extra cardstock scraps on the back of the card base, or the watery panel, because I like a little extra dimension. I think it really makes a nice effect on your card. Next, we're going to adhere the nautical knots background with our pirates. Add a little heavyweight block to make those adhere well, and then we're going to use the clear Stampin' Dies of the month called Anchors Away. These are from June also. This is Anchors Away to an Amazing Birthday and the word ahoy. And we're going to layer those up with some extra layers of cardstock that I cut from white scrap cardstock, and layer those behind our sentiments so they stand out nice and bold on the front of our card. They are white on almost white, and this will help them stand out better and adhere better over those very dimensional embossed knots. I thought these sentiments went really well with this theme, and I love that a lot of companies are coming out with similar themed things at basically the same time. I think that really encourages you to shop between the brands and combine things into cards and projects that you really enjoy. Pick and choose from the different companies. Next, we have a scrap, this from the die cut double stitched. So the reason it's called double stitched is it adds stitching lines on both the fallout and the negative part of the die cutting area. And I just trimmed this down to just under 5 inches by 3/4 inches. And we're going to add that to the inside of the card. Again, bringing the theme from the outside of the card to the inside of the card. We'll adhere this helm on here, and it does fit perfectly in this 5x7 card base. Just giving it a good rub to make sure that it adheres well. And then I have picked a sentiment from that clear Stampin' Die Anchors Away set from Spellbinders. This is the Party Like a Sea Captain. Isn't it? Yeah, Party Like a Sea Captain. Happy birthday. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had so much fun playing with all these beachy themed things. If you enjoyed it, please give this a thumbs up. Give it, subscribe if you haven't done that. Check that description box below. There will be a link to all of the products that I used today. And until next time, here are a couple more videos I thought you might enjoy. Bye-bye.